what came to your mind when I say the word academic? Maybe some of you came up with the assignment, the piling up assignments. Maybe something of this subject that they love, or maybe the one that they despise very much. Some would even think of grades. They would be very proud of their grades, or be very anxious and scared because whatever mark is it going to appear on the paper. But I could guarantee that most of us, maybe half of this very room, or maybe not even half, more than a half of us has thought about this very question. Am I falling behind? Let me start with a scenario that I believe is all too familiar. Raise your hand if you ever once done this. Well, it's 11 p.m. You'll be studying for straight 3 hours. So you decided to take some break and you open your Instagram. And the first thing you see, a classmate's story. A picture of a textbook with the caption, Chapter 7 done, time for Chapter 8. Grind never stops. Immediately, your heart sinks into your stomach. You're only on Chapter 3. Your brain doesn't think, oh, good for them. It's whispered, am I falling behind? This question, am I falling behind, is like a parasite to us. It's eating our soul. It is the silent soundtrack of modern tertiary education. Yes, indeed, we all have thought about that very question. But does that mean we are the problem? The answer is no. We are not broken. We are not lazy. And no, you are not falling behind. You are simply a human. But here's the problem. In today's tertiary education, academic comparison isn't just happening. It's literally everywhere. And this is what quietly eating away our motivation, our confidence, and most importantly, our mental health. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to argue about 3 things. First thing first, that comparison is a double-edged sword. It has both pros and cons. Second, that it is an unhealthy form. It is damaging us more than we can admit. Third, and finally, the most important part, how we can outsmart the comparison trap without dropping out of life. Let's start with something most people will ignore. Comparison isn't evil. In fact, without comparison, us humans wouldn't have survived. Even way back then in centuries, our ancestors looked at each other and thought, they built a better shelter, let me learn. So, in tertiary education, healthy comparison supposedly look like this. You see a friend using a flashcard app or an app that helps them to study. You try it. You get a better mark than the last semester. Your grades improve. You notice a classmate always asking a very great question every single time. So you start preparing 1 question per lecture. You watch a senior's presentation and it is a very good one, a very engaging one. You borrow their structure, not their identity or character. Well, that's what we call as upward social comparison with a learning mindset. And study shows that when the student compares matters strategically, they would actually perform better, especially in some competitive courses like medicine, engineering, and courses like law. So yes, you can picture comparison as a fuel, but, and this is a very big but, what if you pour some fuels? What if you pour some fuels in the wrong engines? It explodes. What happens when the comparison becomes a slow poison? Let me give you some examples from the university life. We have the first scenario. A second-year student sees her roommate finish an essay in 2 days. She thinks, I'm slower, I'm worse. And then the result. She doesn't start hers until the midnight before. That's not laziness, my friend. That's comparison. Induced procrastination. We have another scenario. A male engineering student compares his grade, a B+, to his friend's grade, an A solid. He stopped speaking in tutorials. He stopped joining study groups. What happened is that he's starting to feel invisible. Now, let that sink in. You're done? Okay, now, here's the cruelest part. We keep on compare our messy middle with everyone else's polish final. We did see their grade, but not their midnight breakdown, when all they feel is miserable. We did see their internship, not their 47 rejection. My friends, this has created an unrealistic expectation among tertiary level students, because not everyone has the same background or learning pace. Next, this also has reduced self-worth to numbers. Students nowadays begin to define themselves by GPA, by grades, and even achievements. So, what do? Do we stop looking at others completely? No, that's impossible. But we can change the rules of the game. So, here's the thing. So, you may ask questions like, so how do we escape this academic imposter syndrome? How should we thrive when we literally are living in an environment that designed to rank us? I propose that the solution itself lies in shifting our own perspective from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of growth. First and foremost, clear up your feeds or digital environment. You should unfollow those accounts that make you feel inadequate. Instead, follow creators who share the process, not just the result. Follow those who show their messy draft, show their failed experiments, and also their struggle. As the one TikTok creator that we know today, like Khairul Amin. By doing so, you are replacing the highlight reel with reality. My second suggestion is start a collaborative learning rather than a competitive one. For instance, instead of asking a classmate, what grade did you get? Ask them, how did you approach that problem? Shift the conversation from ranking to methodology. You form a study groups where the goal is to lift everyone up. Because in the end of the day, you are actually building a community. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, stop measuring progress by the speed of others. Specifically, stop looking at the person at the finish line when you are still tying your shoelaces. Take, for example, a marathon runner. They do not worry if the runner next to them is sprinting in the first mile. They know the race is long, and their only job is to maintain their own pace to reach the finish line. What I'm trying to say here is university is like a marathon. It is not a sprint. Your journey may involve taking a semester off, changing your major, or maybe taking longer to graduate. None of these things means you are falling behind. They mean you are building a path that is uniquely yours. So to bring this back where we started, academic comparison is not evil. At some point, it can motivate us, but sometimes it could ground us, but even connect us. But remember, when we left it unchecked, it becomes a thief. It will steal your motivation, it will steal your confidence, and even worse, your peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you with this. The university is not a race to the finish line. It is a place of learning. And learning is not about being better than the person next to you. It is about being better than you were yesterday. So here is my very final ask to you. Next time when you scroll your TikTok or Instagram and you feel that very exact familiar drop in your chest, stop, breathe once, and say this to yourself. I am not your highlight reel. I am my own whole story, including the messy parts of myself. Yeah, maybe it does sound cliche, but trust me, it does work. You are not falling behind. You are exactly where you need to be to grow at your own speed. With that, thank you.